district attorney's office, which clearly skews left, I'll tell you how we know in just a moment, met the demands of the street, caved to the mob, and said, okay, bam, we're going to indict him for various homicide-based charges. Now, I didn't know in watching this. Again, here's another thing that I did not pass judgment on until I saw them and listened to them. Again, great concept. I recommend it highly. Watch things, consume things, hear what people say, and evaluate them as they happen rather than plugging in your preconceived notions. But with regard to Kyle's weapon, a clearly firearms illiterate prosecutor, Mr. Binger, cast aspersion on anyone. He spent a few minutes in his summation talking about how ridiculous it is for people to try to use an AR-15 for self-protection. What? Let me introduce you to a ton of people who have done exactly that. He also cast aspersion on anyone who would even think of heading into such a skirmish. Now, again, I think I've said 4 times, might not be the smartest thing in the world. No kid of mine's going to do it, and it's not my definition of wisdom. But that's not what Mr. Binger was doing. Mr. Binger was conferring evil intent, malicious intent, criminal intent. And it's all based on the big, scary gun. The big, scary gun. And then we get to the pièce de résistance from Mr. Binger, who's not only firearms illiterate, weaponry is not the only thing where he needs some schooling. Apparently, the law is another main area where Mr. Binger is a bit behind the curve, saying that you lose your ability to claim self-defense if you come into a situation armed. What? This will come as news to virtually everyone who has properly defended himself while armed, entering a situation. This is a horrible, horrible example of prosecutorial dispatch that we have seen, and man, do they deserve to lose. And the other good byproduct of this, as I get ready to go to your calls, 1-8-Prager-776, 1-8-Prager-776, is light needs to be shown with great intensity on these district attorney offices who politically persecute people. Kyle Rittenhouse this is the kind of case, and you'll see it every once in a while, somebody will have something happen to their house, their place of business, on the street, and the police will go, okay, let's stay, don't leave town. We need to take a look at this. And they'll take a look at it and go, pretty well self-defense, no charges filed. That is exactly what this case needed to be. Why wasn't it? Because the streets demanded otherwise. The mob demanded otherwise. We're in Torrance, California. Christian, hey, Mark Davis and for Dennis, how are you? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Hey.
Yeah, I keep hearing everybody saying that people are calling Kyle Rittenhouse a hero for what he did, but I don't really hear that from the right, just from the prosecutors and then the left media. And even your previous caller seems to have bought into that. I think, the main argument is that he acted in self-defense.
Oh, there's some folks who have gone beyond that. Yes, I mean, that's the preponderance. But I've spoken to some folks who just think that he's just King Boy Scout for wandering into a rug. It follows the narrative of, the police aren't there. Here's a fine young man who's just stepped in to fill the void. And I get that. That resonates with me. But 17-year-old boys don't need to be filling that void.
Yeah, but who specifically is calling him a hero?
Talk to people, walk the streets. Just you'll find it. You'll Google Kyle Rittenhouse hero, and I think you'll find some.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and a word about that. And thanks for bringing that up. A word about that. A lot of people, and it's fine, have said, yeah, well, one guy was like a horrible abuser, and the other guy was horrible, pedophile, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, and if your point is that these were, that Kyle Rittenhouse had no criminal intent, no criminal record, well, the people he shot did, okay, in terms of who's heroic and who's not praiseworthy, okay. but there's nothing about what somebody's done in the past that makes them more of a candidate for shooting. This guy, these people, Kyle Rittenhouse doesn't walk because the guy he shot was a pedophile. Kyle Rittenhouse walks because the guy he shot was attacking him.